I just think we have to be thinking really comprehensively about each square foot of this space and how we're going to utilize it. If it's going to be residences, are they going to be amenable to people in the park? Honestly, that's a big question. We saw Columbus turn their downtown green space into a private green space because of the way they developed residences around it, and that's I think unfathomable to a lot of people here. So I just, as we keep going down this path, to have really good, deeper conversations about how we're going to arrange this. And thanks again.
First of all, relative to housing in the park, there is no way that I could propose this if I didn't believe that we could plan this in a way that those residents that are on very small lots, and this is urban housing, couldn't coexist and enhance the environment in the park. If we didn't have a terraced landscape, if we didn't have the ability to add the walking trail, which is a natural divider, it's not just there because it's a wonderful amenity, it is, but it's also there because it would sit on the crest of the hill, we cut the hill back, we drop the residences on Euclid Heights down, and that topography is already there. Nobody wants to level this site, get big bulldozers out here, big cats, and just level it all out. And then create an environment where the activity of the residents and the activity of the park users, which is anybody who wants to come here and use it, coexist wonderfully. We're talking about lighting, we're talking about wayfinding signage, we're talking about people supporting the park because they live there, which is a good thing. I mean, common space, when it's done properly, works well when people take ownership of it. And when you visit a place and when you occupy that place every day, you tend to take ownership of it, and somehow human beings tend to take better care of it. So I really believe that is doable, and we wouldn't propose that it wasn't possible.
That the parking that was going to be existing for the housing, though, would not be adjacent to the housing. It would be like the stuff along the fence line would be down at the end. So, just a thought that, yeah, I agree with what's being said about millennials. However, you also talked about, I think your phrase of terminology was old folks like you or like me, and that you're designing stuff that's one story that might appeal to those people. And, as they buy a house and live in it for 4 or 5 years, their needs might dramatically change in their ability to park outside their door. The thing is that garages hold other things than cars. They hold stuff that people need, like garbage cans and bicycles. And so just a thought. And lastly about parking is that I think it's important when you're doing something like this that it's developed as great real estate for a long time, and that you have the ability to accommodate what the trends not only are today, but what they are in the future. And the trend that's going now towards less parking may or may not be the case in the future. We'll make sure you haven't shoehorned your way into not being able to accommodate that.
There's really 2 answers I can think of to your question about the housing and the parking related to the housing. The first one is if we remember, we're very early. This is conceptual, and this is a little different idea. Not that it hasn't been done before in other places. It hasn't been done in Cleveland Heights certainly, but I've done a lot of housing that 15 years ago people said nobody's going to buy that. They're buying it. There was no townhomes in Northeast Ohio, and I've built over 200 market rate for sale townhomes throughout the Northeast Ohio region. So this is only 22 homes, and I can't imagine that there aren't 22 buyers that would want this lifestyle. And if there aren't, we won't sell them. They won't sell, and if they're not pre-sold, they won't get built. So I can tell you that we feel pretty confident that we're on the right track. And it also works here because we really don't want curb cuts on Euclid Heights, and we don't want driveways on the property with rear parking. We don't want any of that. So if the housing doesn't work, it won't happen. But the second issue relative to parking and the garages, we have parking lots that are proximate to both clusters of housing, the Euclid Heights and the Washington. And if you see the dotted line behind that, that's actually indicating low-profile garages for the residents. And those garages would be designed to actually be a foil for the housing and also provide proximate covered parking where people could store things. We could put solar panels on the roofs that would be sloped to the south, and they become actually a wonderful visual amenity to break down the scale of the parking lots and unify and integrate the housing into the lot. People don't want a garage, they won't buy a garage, they'll just park in the lot. So we think we've provided enough variables that most people could live here comfortably and will desire this property.